We just finished designing the create topic and the manage topics pages. So the next item on the sidebar whose pages we need to create is normally supposed to be users. But if you take a look at the users pages, you will notice that they are a little bit more complex. For example, the user form, the create user form requires that we add this image field as well as a few other fields. So modifying it is going to be a bit more involved. Unlike the roles pages, which basically look almost the same as what we had for the topics. So that is why I suggest we skip the users item for now and move on to the roles, which is more straightforward. And then when we are done with roles and possibly these other ones, permissions, which look almost exactly the same as topics, when we are done with these simple ones, we can come to the users. Okay, so in this video we are creating the create roles and manage roles pages. So again, let's go to our code base and I'll collapse everything so that we can see the folder structure clearly. Okay, so we have the post page, the post folder, the topics folder. Now we are going to create a new folder called roles, and inside this folder we'll have a create.html file to represent the create roles page. Then we'll also have the index.html to represent the manage roles page. Now the roles pages, as we have said, resemble the topics pages. So we are going to copy the code from the topics folder into the roles folder and modify it accordingly to suit roles. So the first, I'm going to open create.html under the topics folder. I will select all the code in this file and copy it. And then I will open create.html inside the roles folder and I will paste the code we just copied. And then I will scroll to the top and start making changes. I'll change the title tag from create topic to create role. And then the header remains the same, the sidebar remains the same. And for the page content and the table, or rather the form, we will change the title to read create role instead of create topic. And as seen on the finished project, the create role or form has the name and the description, exactly the same as what we had on topics. That is, let me see, name and description. So we are not going to make any changes at all on the create role form again. So we'll leave it at that. And in fact, the rest of the page, we're not going to make any difference. We're not going to make any changes. So that's it for the create roles page. Okay, so the next thing we are working on is the manage roles page. Again, it is going to look like the manage topics page. So I'm going to open index.html under the topics folder. I will select all the code in this folder and copy. And then I open index.html inside the roles folder and paste the code from the manage topics page that we just copied. And then I will scroll to the top and once again I'll start modifying. The title will read manage roles instead of manage topics. The header remains the same, the sidebar remains the same. The form, the title of the form, or rather the table, is going to be roles. The table actions is going to read add role instead of add topic. And then here we'll have the serial numbering and then the name of the role. And then let me see the finished project. So the manage roles table has 4 columns. The serial number, the role, the number of users, and then update permissions. Number of users, and then the last column will be update permissions. Okay, so let us modify the data or the table rows accordingly. Okay, we'll modify one and then just duplicate it. So I'll take out the second table row, and then for the first, the serial number 1 is correct. The row, let's give it a different row name. Let's say admin as the name of the first row. Number of users is 5. And then we'll add another table data column for the update permissions. So this is going to be only a link, or let me see, and the finished project is only a link. Okay, we'll give this link a class of edit so that it has the same styles as this edit button here, and the text on it is going to read permissions. Alright, this might not be a very intuitive or link here, so I'll just add a title, as you can see on the finished project, so that the user can assign or hover on it and have an idea on what this link does. So I'm going to set a title attribute on this link, and it is going to read assign, or let me see, assign permissions to role. Okay, so that's all. I'm going to duplicate this table row, and then I'll add a second item. I'll set the name of the role to author, and that'll be basically it. Since it's so simple, I'm going to add one more, make it the third row, and this one should be editor this time. And that's it. Go back to our browser and let's open this page. This time we are going inside the roles folder, and let's start with the index.html, which is the manage roles page, and it looks good. Now you know what I will do. I want these links to place themselves at the center of this column. So what I will do is, I'm just going to, we did define a class called center, and what it did was to align the text at the center. So what I'm going to do is, for these table data columns that have the permissions link, I'm going to add a class and give it a value of center. Okay, so I'll do the same thing to all these other table rows. Align, I'll give it a class of center. Okay, so that way when refresh, it is not changing, but I think we can leave it at this. Yeah, it's not the worst design in the world, so I won't bother myself. So let's leave it at this and call it the end of the design of the roles pages in the admin section. Right, so see you in the next video.